Nope. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your December 2019 reading. Let's see what we have for you. Midheaven for your stars divine card. And then we have amethyst, very vibrant amethyst for your crystal card. Okay, so midheaven, let's talk about that a bit. Midheaven is very much about our public self, and it even deals with 10th house energy, on the cusp of the 10th house. And it's perfect timing considering we have a full moon in your sign this month. But even before that, Jupiter is moving into Capricorn, and then there's going to be a new moon in Capricorn because we're going to move into Capricorn season around the 26th. And 10th house is associated with Capricorn. So we have a lot of honesty that's floating around. There needs to be a lot of honesty floating around. And with amethyst, intuition, and third eye chakra coming up, we're talking about openness. We're talking about imagination. We're talking about foresight. And if this has anything to do with working, this might be an opportunity this month for you to be more open and honest about what it is that you're feeling when it comes to your career, or what direction you're moving when it comes to what you apply your energy towards, okay? What you want to do and how you want to apply yourself to actually help others heal. There's something very hands-on about it, because I think the work that you want to contribute to and what you want to put out into the world is supposed to help others. It's supposed to help others. It may not even be something that people consider, oh, you're helping others, as in like, oh, you're not, like, some people think, oh, just healing work, you work with the chakras, you do spiritual work, you do maybe even tarot, you do astrology, or you do rituals or Reiki. That's not it. You can also do things like create programs, applications, work on building or on resource projects. I don't know why civil engineering came up. Even city planning, those are things that also help contribute to the greater good. You're looking at the community, you're looking at ways to improve the environment, you're examining the environment. But I think a lot of you are wanting to do work that directly impacts the greater good. You want to be a part of the crowd in the best way, I feel. But there could be something going on. You could be experiencing, or have been experiencing for some time, some conflict of interest. Maybe you enjoy what you're doing now, but you don't feel all the way there. You feel like you could specify the work that you're doing even more. So say that you're working on a program. Maybe it's more of the human interaction aspect of the program that you want to work on. And I mean, maybe if you're out in the schooling system, whether you're working in tech, whether you're working in transport, maybe you want to have more one-on-one interaction with people, or at least have more face-to-face conversations, which makes sense considering that you're an air sign, right? You're very active, okay? And you want to be more involved, is what I'm getting. You want to be more involved. This could also say that during like this holiday time and like in the States, more people are wanting to gather and get together, and maybe you're one of the people who's trying to host, or you're trying to make sure that, people see each other before we go our separate ways again, or at least if there's an opportunity to bring everybody together, which feels rare, you're going to jump on it. You could be expressing that you have a desire to see people, you have a desire to come together, and that you might even say to people, I want something on the lines of, not just I want to be happier, but I also want to make other people happier. There's a strong sense that I want to do better, but there seems to be some misalignment there, as in you're on your way, you're on the right track for sure, but you want to go there. We do have Uranus in retrograde right now too, so as I've been mentioning in other readings, there's this strong desire to just have something happen, right? We would want things to happen, but it's just not. It's not there yet. It's not. So as we are feeling this tension or this pull, maybe a slight disconnect with our overall purpose, because that can also come here, our purpose. We want to make sure that we're not pushing so hard to the point of overcompensating. We're not pushing so hard to where we might risk tainting our reputation, because that also is associated with midheaven. It's how we're reflecting outwardly, right? So we don't want to force the success when it's not ready to show itself. And if we feel like we are forcing success, what we need to do is listen to the resistance, okay? If it feels like, okay, I'm unhappy with how this progress is going, let's take a moment and sit with that energy. Let's take a moment and say, okay, what about what I'm doing right now is not making me happy? Okay, that can be a good focus for many of you as we're wrapping up 2019. What is not making me happy right now? What do I feel is missing? And probably around the 12th, when we have a full moon in your sign, it can be a time for you to maybe have that conversation with someone, okay, or maybe some friends. You can talk about what you feel is missing, what you want to change, and how you want to present yourself differently when it comes to your career or when it comes to the public version of yourself, how you want to interact. Maybe, you're a social sign, but that doesn't always mean that you are the salesman that people call Geminis, right? It doesn't mean that you always know how to start a conversation, how to end a conversation, how to spark the right debate, how to end the conversation appropriately, how to get things moving. Maybe there's parts of it that you have strengths in. Okay, maybe you're not the one who's feeling good at starting the conversation, but once it starts, you know how to contribute to it. Okay, or maybe you don't know how to contribute to the conversation, but you know when it's an appropriate time to wrap it up, especially in group settings. Maybe you want to do the opposite. Maybe you want to learn how to be better at engaging, interacting. There's places where you feel like you can clean it up. And the nice thing about midheaven, this 10th house, cusp of the 10th house, and then us having so much Capricorn energy going on too during December, is that with it Jupiter moving into Capricorn, we're going to be way more focused on cleaning up, tightening loose ends, okay? Not wasting as much, and definitely getting down to business, getting down to the nitty gritty, and disciplining ourselves so that we can actually learn more. And that's one of your strengths, Gemini, is being able to discipline yourself enough to focus on perfecting or at least enhancing an existing skill or even acquiring a new skill. Okay, I feel like you're enhancing a skill now because you have the opportunities to engage, you have the opportunities to spark conversation and talk, but I think there's some wariness about it. So if we're going to get a little bit more personal, right, it does deal with career, but some of you might feel like you have to break some news to people important to you, especially if you want to experience a change in direction. You may have to tell people important to you or who are immediately around you, and you're not quite sure how they're going to take it. You're going to have to say it, okay? You're going to have to say it. I feel like this is the prime time, especially before we get into the new year. This is prime time to get into it so that when 2020 comes around, you can feel emotionally and mentally ready to start a new year. You don't want to be holding in that information. It's almost a bit secretive. You don't want to hold it in because you are not, you haven't had that conversation. I mean, you are not talking about what needs to be said. And there's so many places that I think many of you want to go in terms of direction. And with third eye showing up here, it's like there's a drive to be open. There's a drive to listen to yourself. Okay? Don't deny it. You've got to communicate openly with you because you've been doing that for a while. And that's why this need to to enhance, to perfect is coming, or to kind of create an anchor point when it comes to grounding yourself and focusing on this dream, focusing on your work or your craft as well. Okay. And if you feel like there's anything that's unresolved, December is a good time to attempt to fix these. Okay. And it's going to come through how you open your mouth. And it's the moment you decide to open your mouth and tell your truth in that way, that's when the healing is going to come. And that's when that relief is going to flow right in, because now you're letting go of this restraint, and then it's allowing for you to flow freely into the direction that you've been trying to go naturally. Okay? So Gemini, let's go ahead and move on to your tarot cards. All right, Gemini, let's see what we have for you. Let's take the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands. Persevering. Six of Cups. There's that past coming in. Past. Ooh, some of you may need to return to in the Devil. Look at that. Capricorn is on your side. I love this. You know what this also is saying? You're receiving support. Okay? In which way that you try to restructure your life, you're receiving support. Okay? And then you have to keep trying to support this dream that you've had for a very long time, probably since your youth. Okay? And youth can be like 10 years ago. Okay? But there's definitely a strong need for you to also communicate with the people who you've known for a long time, the people who are important to you. Okay? Because with these two cards together, I'm getting that you might be afraid to confess the direction that you want to move in, or confess the fact that you want to make some change, do something different. You could even receive the message of, oh no, just keep at it. Just keep at it. Don't change direction. Just keep at it. Or there could even be a sense of what's the matter with what you're doing now? Or messages of, I don't see the point of you doing anything different. And you might have heard messages like this before, which kind of kept you in that headspace that was just like, let me just do what's easiest and just follow this path. I'm still going to have what I want to do in my mind, but I'm going to throw it to the back burner again. On the other hand, this could be some of others of you making an effort to repeat the fact that you want to make a change. Repeating that you want to make a change. And you might have to express the message that there's nothing wrong with wanting to follow your dream. There's nothing wrong with it because you feel it in your gut. There's an innocence here. There's an innocence in your action of being open and honest, like we saw with the Amethyst card. There's no reason that we shouldn't feel open to expressing to the people we love and care about what we want to do, what we want to change, and how change can be good. Change doesn't have to be a threat. Change doesn't mean that you're unstable. Okay? Even if we add these numbers here together with the Devil, we have a 15. And if we narrow that 15 down, what is that? A 6. Okay. That's a 6. And 6 can represent harmony, beauty, okay? Even success. And Capricorns are very focused on success. They're all about climbing the ladder. They're leaders. They're what the CEOs of the zodiac. They care about structure, and they're ruled by Saturn. That is all about discipline and order. And we have so much support for all of this. We have so much support. We have a way of corralling our thoughts and our dreams and our imaginations and propelling them upward. So when I say that you're being supported in this month, feel free to speak about your truth. Speak about what's on your mind. Okay? Because in anything that you do, you succeed. But right now, there's just been this hint, there's been this glimmer, there's been these dreams, these messages coming in that are saying, I need to move in this direction. I need to consider this option. I need to look at this. I need to look at this. But there's other factors, and fair enough, fairly, there's other factors that come in that kind of suppress those thoughts. Life is happening, right? Other people are happening. You have family, you have friends, you have things going on at your work. Sometimes things are going on with your health that seem to impede the progress that we want to make when it comes to interacting with the world the way that we desire. But right now is the time to experience the healing from all of those obstacles by opening our mouths. Opening our mouths, okay? The more you do that, the more you breathe. The more you do that, the more you let the weight off of your shoulders. And Gemini, you're very much about the shoulders, the arms, the hands, okay? Breathing, breathing, breathing. We want to exhale. We want to inhale and exhale. We want that to feel natural, okay? We want to relax about what we give to others in terms of the truth when it comes to who we are, okay? Many of you are very focused on how can I be more useful to society? How can I be more useful to society? How can I? Okay? And through expressing what you're feeling, expressing what you want to do, meditating is also going to be important as well. Meditating, focusing, and it's perseverance can also relate to learning different ways of preserving your energy. So this is also giving me that meditating or taking a step back and recharging is going to help you receive the boost that you need when it's time to move forward. So when you're not speaking to others about what it is that you need, the other form of healing that you can experience is by taking a step back and recharging. So finances, looking at your resources can be really important as well. So, because if you step back and recharge, you may have to look at the resources you have so that you can be ready to move forward. Some of you are actually thinking about moving. Some of you are thinking about moving because I'm thinking about structure, and then I'm getting physical structure as well because this is earth energy and you're supported by a lot of earth energy. So there's resources coming into play here. But some of you might actually be thinking about saving your resources so that you can move forward. Saving resources so you can move forward. Maybe you've always had a childhood dream of living in a particular area, and that's the news that you need to break to people. Maybe you had a dream of attending a certain school or being in a particular career path since you were younger. Okay, I'm sorry to hear noise. That is my family moving around in the kitchen. Okay, but anyways, you have certain ideas that you want to move towards. And I think the reason why a lot of people might be they may not understand you is because what you're moving towards seems like the past. Or it just seems like, you're moving towards a dream that's not realistic. You have to look at your life now. And that's what you're doing. You're looking at your life. You're looking at what's been following you for years and years and years. And now you are taking the measures to shoot for it, to be the fool, to take that leap, okay? But you're doing it by no longer being wasteful. What are we no longer wasting? Our money, our time? What resource are we deciding to preserve now? What are we needing to protect so that we can follow this dream that we've had for a very, very long time and feel confident about it and be supported and see the different ways that you can support your life and be successful? So another way of looking at this is redefining success. Continuing to push and push and push. Maybe you need to return to something that you feel like you failed in the past. This could be talking about an examination, okay? This could be talking about revisiting a test that maybe I'm getting, could be driver's license, right? Or it could be maybe real estate licensing or certification. Um, hmm. I'm almost getting, especially for those of you who are, I'm going to say significantly older, if you're doing something that feels like you would need to start fresh or at the bottom of the field, you may not receive as much support, but you still need to tell them, okay? Because that's going to give you the release you need to go for it. Because you don't want to, I have a strong feeling that you don't want to be moving in secret. You don't want to move in secret. You just want to let people know what you're doing. And that's fair, right? But some of you are just deciding you want to, you could be thinking about starting over. Okay, starting over, or maybe you want to build something from the ground up. You could want to build a home from the ground up, and maybe that's why you're saving. But maybe you also want to build a home from the ground up in a specific area, okay? Or, to be fair, you could also be wanting to take down a structure. Maybe there's an old home that you've owned for a long time, and you want to either take it down or maybe you want to remodel it. And some people feel a type of way about that, especially if it's been in the family for years and years and years. So maybe wanting to alter it so that it's more livable, or maybe wanting to alter it so that you can start putting it open for renters and so on. I'm getting a lot of real estate here. Okay. Looking at property and how to utilize it, how to utilize the resources you have, or even how to preserve it. Okay, that's another way of looking at it. Now, I'll end your reading with I guess there's more activism that could be showing up here as well. You could be looking at different ways, because we're looking at outward, right? We've been looking at our public self and how we can function more readily and more, or we're looking at our own efficacy, right? We are trying to see how we can contribute to society. This could be talking about you looking at the history of your society, looking at the history of governance, legislation, elections, just looking at how the laws of the land have affected people time and time again, learning more about it. Even your own ancestry could be a part of this, and trying to figure out ways to protect it, to protect people, to protect structures, parts of land, okay? And looking at the different ways that we can successfully fight to preserve these things, to preserve these homes, whether it's for the animals or for people, or maybe you're looking at Earth overall, okay? Because some of you are, maybe you're more of an environmentalist, maybe you're looking more at sustainability and you care about these things. So maybe you want to go somewhere and protest, and you have to reveal that to people who care about you and they're worried. Maybe you want to go somewhere and study and learn more about a culture in different ways and different movements that they've experienced, but it requires for you to uproot yourself for a period of time. Express these things, Gemini, because I want 2020 to be fresh for all of us, and you deserve to have that weight lifted off of your shoulder because you are following your intuition. You're following what feels natural to you. Okay? So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you for joining me. I love you very much. Please do your best to keep the faith. There's so much I'm saying right now. And I will see you next year. Bye-bye.